Today I will show how to solve the Laplace equation when we have this mesh diagram. This mesh is divided into 16 squares, and also the boundary values are given here. What we have to do is using SFF and DFF. SFF and DFF. Using these two finite difference formulas, we have to identify the values of these interior points u1, u2, u3, so on up to u9, which is listed here, where I have written here. So in the very first step, what we have to do is we have to identify u5. I am repeating, in the very first step, find out u5. Okay, so u5 should be identified with the help of SFF formula. With the help of this formula, SFF. So here u5, so where you can identify that in the mesh diagram. So here you can clearly observe u5. Okay, so here let me draw that u5 mesh here, where here we have u5. Towards right side of that u5 we have u6, and towards left side we have u4. Towards if you move upwards we have u2, and if you move downwards of u5 we have u8. Okay, so here we have four different points which are near to this u5: u2, u4, u6 and u8. So what we will do is to find u5. So SFF means we have to add the points which are in the left side, right side, top and bottom, and we have to divide that by 4. So that is the formula, SFF formula for u5. So here I have identified. So that is u2, and top point is u2, bottom point is u8, and next is u4, and next point is u6, and entire thing should be divided by 4. Okay, so now here, since initially I don't have the values for this u2, u4, u6 and u8, what I have to do is, for this the nearest value should be given. So for all this u2, u4, u6 and u8, nearest values in the mesh diagram should be allotted. So here nearest value for u6 is 21. So in place of u6 I will substitute that as 21. Okay. Next, similarly in place of u4, what I will write on, the nearest value for u4 is 0. That is nearest boundary value, it is equal to 0. So I will substitute u4 as 0. Okay. Next, in place of u8, what I have to do is, so I have to search for the nearest boundary value. So that is 12.1. So in place of u8, I will write down 12.1. And in place of u2, what I have to do, I have to search the nearest boundary value, and it is equal to 17. So I have to add all this, and I have to divide by 4, so that I will get the value of u5, and the value of u5 is
12.5.
12.5. Okay. Stop. Okay, after finding the value of u5, we have to find the remaining odd values which I have identified in the mesh diagram. So that is u1, next u3, next u7 and u9 in the same order. Okay, u1, u3, u7 and u9 using DFF, using diagonal 5-point formula. So formula for u1, I will write down the formula for u1. So here I have extracted that u1 here, and I have written the mesh diagram separately. So you can easily observe the u1 here. Okay, so with respect to diagonal values, just along with the u1 are 0, and here u5, 0 plus u5 plus remaining two diagonal point values are 0 and 17. 0 plus 17. So I have to divide this by 4. Okay, so I will get the value of u1 as 7.4. I think you have understood how to find the value of u1. Similarly, I have to find the value of u3. So here, search for u3 in the mesh diagram. So corresponding diagonal values. So here the diagonal value is 17, and here it is 21. 17 plus 21. Remaining two diagonal values should be identified. So that is 18.6, and one more diagonal point as u5. 18.6 and u5. So in place of u5, I have to substitute the value of u5 as 12.5. So after adding that, I have to divide that by 4. I will get the value of u3 as 17.25. Okay. So next, after finding u3, find u7. So identify where is u7 in the diagram. So here we have u7. So just draw the diagonal line, dotted lines. So diagonal entries, here we have 0 and here we have 12.1. Just add them, 0 plus 12.1, and add the remaining two diagonal points, a line which passes through u7. So here we have u5 and in the other end of the diagonal we have 0. So u5 plus 0. So in place of u5, again I have to substitute for u5. It is 12.5. So if I divide that by 4 by adding all the values in the numerator, I will get the value of u7 as 6.15. Next, at last I will find the value of u9. So similarly, I have to identify u9 in the diagram. So u9 is present here. So just draw the dotted lines. It starts from u5, it passes through u9 and it reaches the diagonal point here, and the value of that is 9. So u5 plus u9. So next here, start from here, draw the diagonal line which passes through u9. So 21 and 12.1 are the diagonal values. 21 plus 12.1. Divide that by 4, we will get the value of u9. So u9 value is 13.65. So like this, I have to identify the values of odd values u1, u3, u7 and u9 using DFF. Pause. So now, after finding the values of odd values, so we have to find the even values. So that is u2, u4, u6 and u8 in the same order. Please remember, in the same order I have to identify even values u2, u4, u6 and u8. So for finding all these values, I will use SFF, standard 5-point formula. So now let me write the formula for u2. So I have to identify u2 in the mesh diagram. So here you can easily observe the u2. So for u2, SFF means left, right, top, bottom points, bottom values. So according to that, towards left side of u2 we have u1. So u1. Next, towards right side of u2, that is u3. And next, topmost point is 17. And the bottom point for u2 is u5. So now I have to substitute the corresponding values. So where I have identified in step 2. So u1 value is 7.4. u1 value is 7.4 and u3 value is 17.25. And here it is 17 plus u5 and u5 value is 12.5. So this should be divided by 4. So I will get the value of u2. So and u2 value is here already I have written that. So that is 13.55. So like this I have to find the value of u2. So after finding u2, I have to find u4. So here we have what value of u2. So now I am finding u4. So for that what I have to do? Search u4 where it is in the diagram. So here we have u4. You can easily notify this. u4 is present here. So now SFF means left, right, top and bottom values. So left value is 0. And towards right we have u5. u5 value is as u5. I will just write down that as u5. Next, top value is u1 and bottom value is u7. So now I have to make the substitution and I have to divide by 4. So what is u5? So till now I have only one value for u5, that is 12.5. Next, what is u1? So u1 value here I have u1 value. So it is found in the step 1, 7.4. Next, what is u7? u7 is 6.15 and divide this by 4. I will get the value of u4 and what it is I have identified. So that is 6.52. Okay, so now I have got u2 and u4. Similarly, after this, I have to find the values of what? u6. After finding u4, I have to identify u6 and u8. So identify where is u6. So here we have u6 in the diagram. So towards left side of u6 we have u5 and towards right side we have 21. So u5 plus 21 plus topmost value is u3 and bottom value is u9. So top value it is u3 and here we have u9. u3 plus u9 whole thing divided by 4. So now what is u5? u5 value is 12.5. Next what is, so here it is 21, directly substituted, and u3 value is 17.25, and what is u9 identified in the step 2, so that is 13.65. Divide this by 4, so I'll get the value of u6. So you can calculate it, and here it is 16.12. So u6 value is 16.1. After u6, identify what is u8. So u8 is present here in the diagram. This is u8. So SFF formula use ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ. So left point is u7 and right side point towards u8 is u9 and top point is u5 and the bottom point for u8 is 12.1. Divide this by 4 by substituting. So what is u7 identified in step 1? 6.15. And what is u9? u9 is 13.65. And what is u5? That is 12.5 and 12.1. So if I divide this by 4, I will get the value of u8. So u8 value is equal to 11.12. So like this, I have to identify the even values in the interior of the mesh diagram, interior points. So in step 1, I have identified u5. In step 2, I have identified odd values u1, u3, u7 and u9. Using which formula? Using DFF. Odd values DFF, even values SFF. So SFF for u5, next DFF for odd values, next SFF for even values. So this completes the initial iteration, that is initial values are all identified. So now pause. Finding all the values, initial values. So what you have to do is just list that like this, u1 so on up to u9 in the proper order, and next you have to find the values of first iteration values of all those u1 up to u9. But here we have to follow this order itself, that is firstly you have to find u1, next u2, next u3, next u4, next u5 and u6, u7, u8 and u9. So this order should be strictly followed. So now for all these values I will use only SFF. SFF should be used, only SFF, not DFF. DFF na ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು use ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. We have to use only the SFF. So now let me identify the first iteration value of u1. I will show the values of first iteration value of for u1 and u2. As I said, I have to use SFF. So just observe the mesh diagram. So here we have u1 identified, left side point is 0, right side point is u2. 0 plus right side point u2, and what is the top point is 11.1, and divided by and plus bottom point is u4 divided by u4 divided by 4. So now I have to substitute for u2 and u4. I have to substitute for u2 and u4. So what I have to substitute in place of u2 and u4? So that is the first iteration value, initial value that I have identified. So here I have u2. So here you can observe that u2 is 13.55. 13.55. Okay. And in place of u4 it is 6.52. So just substitute here 6.52, and if you divide that by 4, you will get the value of u1, first iterative value of u1 as 7.79. So now I have two values for u1, one is 7.79 and one more is 7.4. So I have two values. So initially value of u1 is equal to 7.4 and latest value I have for u1 is 7.7. So now let me find the value of u2, first iteration value of u2 using SFF. So I'll write in the formula first. Left side point is u1, right side point is u3, and bottom point is u5, and top point is what, 17. So now I have to do the substitution. So now in place of u1, what I have to substitute? I have two values here. One is 7.79 and one more is 7.4, which I have to substitute means the latest value which I have got. So that is 7.79. So this value should be substituted in place of u1, 7.79, plus u3. I have only one value for u3 till now, so that is 17.25, and for u5 also I have only one value, that is 12.5, and remaining is 17. Divide this by 4. You will get the value of first iteration value of u2 as 13.64. So like this you have to identify the remaining values. So that means you have to use SFF to find u3, u4, u5, so on up to u9. So you will get the values of first iteration. After that, list those values like this as you have listed while finding the first iteration values, and just find the second iteration values. While doing the iteration, you have to use the latest values. Always while finding, you have to use the latest values. Thank you.